Yes, and being with us today. Next to you, you have a woman that you were singing the praises of just beforehand, the overall winner this year of the Department of Forestry and Fisheries Female Entrepreneur Awards, Nomzamo Koza from KZN. Congratulations on your award and welcome as well to the program. Next to you, in the differently abled category, is a female entrepreneur from KwaZulu-Natal, Nobuhle Mthembu. A very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us and congratulations on your achievements. Next to you, we have Praline Swartz, who's a young female entrepreneur from the Western Cape. Welcome to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the program as well. And General Manager Strategy, Total SA, Fancy Mekwa. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the program. Right, okay, so let's unpack some of these issues. I'm going to start with you, Pansy, actually, because we've heard from the Minister now. We'll come back to her. When these awards started, they were the Female Farmer of the Year awards. And the focus has changed slightly by calling them Entrepreneur of the Year awards. Tell us a little bit about why that is and what does that tell us?
I think what it tells us is that the sector has evolved. And with the sector evolving, so has the focus on the female farmers. The female farmers want to be part of the economy. They want to take a bigger role in expanding their businesses, in commercializing their businesses. So the focus in terms of that is to move them away from just being farmers to being entrepreneurs and to looking at the bigger focus of moving their businesses forward and internationalizing their businesses in form of exporting and looking at other markets other than their neighborhoods and so forth.
Okay, all right. Next to you, Praline Swartz, a young female entrepreneur, Western Cape. And the Minister was saying that we're struggling to get young people excited about agriculture and farming. Why do you think that is? And what interested you when, you know, as she was saying, young, beautiful woman, you could be modeling or doing something else? How did you get the love for it?
I was married 5 years ago to my husband, and he's a farmer for 33 years. The love started there. We've got two beautiful sons, and they teach me everything I know. Going out there and just being myself in the fields give me the power to know that I'm a special person, that I'm providing food for somebody out there. And I know lots of young people feel there's nothing to do for them out there. But just like the Minister said, if you start in your own garden, just planting something, then you can become a female farmer.
So what would your message be to other young people out there to try and get them involved and to dirty their hands, as it were?
Stop doing the wrong out there. Start believing in yourself and start something. Get your hands in the mud and start providing for our nation.
Okay, and there'll always be time for manicures afterwards, I guess. Sisi Nobuhle Mthembu, you're blind, and yet the Minister says that you have vision. And I'm wondering, what are the challenges for differently abled people, people dealing with challenges of some kind of disability, to make it in agriculture and in farming?
Ngiyanibingelela nonke endlini. Igama lami nguNobuhle Mthembu. I-project engikuyona ibukana isibonelo Disable Women Cooperatives. Siqale ngo-2009. Amalungu enginawo siyungu 18. Singabantu abaphila nokukhubazeka. Siyalima kwa KZN, siyatshala. Sinama vegetable. Ama-vegetable esinawo cabbage, spinach, and potatoes, and green beans, and carrots, and green pepper, and sweet potatoes, and cucumber. ngizocela ukubonga ekuqaleni kwethu lenhlangano saqala siziqalela nje sabantu abaphila nokukhubazeka imali esasingenayo yokuthi sithenge imbewu sasikwazi ukuthatha emalini kahulumeni sihlanganise sithenge imbewu kodwa ukuhamba kwesikhathi saxhumana nomasipala iPWP wasisiza wasixhasa sakwazi ukuthola imbewu imali ebesinika wona njalo ngenyanga 1500 ukuhamba kwesikhathi saxhumana nomnyango wezelimu uZandile Masuku nomnyango wakhe umkhumbo kunethezeka ngibonga kakhulu ezingene sengikulona umnyango wezolimo uyishintshile impilo yethu entshanga siphila nokukhubazeka somama sabamba iqhaza size sifike kuleli zinga esikulona ngibonga umnyango womkhumbo kunethezeka ngibonge ungqongqoshe ngifisa esifisweni sami njoba sawina le award amathuba omsebenzi engifisa ukuthi abe khona lapha entshanga ngifisa ukuvula amathuba omsebenzi ngoba siphila ezweni elibhlungu lokugqilazeka nelobubha kodwa njengoba senza le project sicabanga ukuthi sifuna ukuvula amathuba omsebenzi silo nendlala emphakathini ngoba besikwenza sidayisa besikwazi ukuphakela umphakathi ontula ungenayo imali yokuthenga siphinde sophakela futhi namakliniki ngibonga kakhulu kumkhumbo kunethezeka ngibonga kakhulu umnyango wezolimo uZandile Masuku ngiyabonga nje ngibonge kakhulu nokungqongqoshe wasenational umsebenzi asenzele wona kuleli izinga esikulona siyacabanga ukuthi soqhubekela phambili size siphakele nezitolo ezinkulu sesifike nasemazweni aphesheya ngiyabonga.
All right. Okay. So, Sisi Nobuhle Nomtembu, as I said, she's with the what was recognized in the differently abled female entrepreneur in KZN, and she's got a cooperative that she works with there, and she does a lot of vegetable farming and in KZN, and despite some of the financing challenges and things that she had, she was able to get her project off the ground, and she says that the department has helped her a great deal to make their lives and change their lives for the better. And Sisi, I would like to find out though, what sort of things have the department been able to do for you that's helped you, that's made the difference? Vakusiza kanjani sis? The department? Yeah.
Izinto udepartment asengenzele zona ziningi kakhulu udepartment unginikele ngomhla ka5 ngikhuluma nje kwakunenkonzo esempumalanga amasidele KZN sathi sikuyona simenye umnyango wezolimo kwiproject yami bathumela izihlahla eziningi kakhulu zamafruits ayinhlobonhlobo ahlukene awu24 baphinde bazosinikeza imbewu baphinde bazosinikeza amathuluzi nomquba ngoba kahle kahle thina into esisebenzisayo etshaleni zethu sisebenzisa umquba iorganic umquba weinkomo zesizulu nezinkukhu zesizulu ukwazile umnyango wezolimo mhla 5 kusilethela waphinde futhi umnyango wezolimo usize kakhulu ngoba ngikhuluma nje kunemali ezongena enkulu ngalendlela esimanga okuyiyona engizothuthukisa ngayo amathuba omsebenzi.
All right, so quite a bit of help there from the department, crops, seeds, and so on and so forth. But we'll unpack that a little bit more. And let's move on to the next woman who's Minister is very proud of and very excited about. And that's you, Nomzamo Khoza. You were the overall winner of the DAF Female Entrepreneur Awards. And also very young indeed. And I'm just wondering how you got involved. How did you become an exporter? When, again, you know, this isn't the kind of thing that young women really are finding themselves in.
It wasn't easy to start the business from scratch, even going to exporting. Starting with just planting the garden that the minister was talking about. I was always very fascinated with just planting millies and everything that I can be able to plant spinach at home. And then I started developing the passion for herbs. Parsley, cinnamon, all the types of herbs. And then from there, it started to grow. I also almost have the same story as the lady on the other side, that along the way you meet people that are already in the business and that already have understanding of what is happening in the business, that you come together with and that are your mentors and that see you through the way. So as you go around, you look in African countries mostly, you see how people are working there. For example, the country that I work mostly with is Mozambique. Everybody there is working. By 12 o'clock at night, people are still on the road, they're working. So you see how people are really trying to make something for themselves. And we here in South Africa are based mostly on offices, and you can see how much potential there is in the soil. So that is how I got into the business. And I also had the help of my husband as well, who also was in the farming business. So he got me to understand a lot of things that I didn't know existed in the business. I was always stuck in the office. I was a chartered accountant. So I thought that was the life that I wanted to live. But I saw that it's not doing anything for me. My passion is not there. So when I started working, I started meeting all these people, and that's where the passion started.
All right. Well, it's a wonderful thing that you've got this other skill as well, because it's one thing, Minister, to put stuff in the ground and grow it, or go out with a boat and take fish out the sea. But skills, accounting, running a business, that's also another huge challenge that I think a lot of our smallholders in particular have. How are we trying to manage that and help them? Because I think sometimes it takes a little bit more than just desire and passion. You've got to have skills as well.
The ANC at its Mangaung conference in December decided that agriculture should be a learning area in schools again. When we had agriculture in our schools under apartheid, we saw it as a derogatory learning area which was meant to keep black people as slaves on farms. We have evolved from there. We are now having control over the entire value chain of agriculture. As I repeat, from the farmer's gate to the consumer's plate. Now, there's so many activities along the value chain. South Africa was the net importer of food 5 years ago. We are now a net exporter of food. We cannot be a net exporter of food if fellow South Africans are still hungry. So the balance between household food security and agriculture, forestry and fisheries as a commercial enterprise is very critical. We have to get that balance correct as a country. South Africa needs its commercial farmers. There is no way in which not only agriculture, but this entire country can survive without commercial agriculture. And we should really recognize that these relationships of bringing your predominantly white male Afrikaner sector and your black sector closer together has happened. We still do have our differences, but we have brought these disparate groups together. What we also need to recognize is that commercial agriculture is not lily white any longer. There are black commercial farmers who are exporting. And when we saw the farm workers strike, we have to, at some stage or the other, as a nation, discuss what it is we really want to see happening in the sector. How we would like to see small community fishers living side by side and coexisting with large companies. But we cannot afford to have 5 companies dominating the space of fertilizer. In South Africa, 5 companies dominate fertilizer. And if you try to enter that field, you're actually dealing with cartels. So input costs are so expensive. The cost of fertilizer, seeds, mechanization, it's extremely expensive in our country. Government has now decided on a 1.3 billion rand stimulus package to stimulate the commercial agriculture sector, but also to ensure partnerships between those who are skilled and those who are unskilled. And that 1.3 billion stimulus package is available for commercial farmers to ensure that they create jobs and that they keep jobs. But we cannot build agriculture on the back of cheap labor. In the Dorings, which is a high farming area, the highest incidence of disease in the Dorings is scurvy, not HIV, not TB, not stabbing and violent aggressive behavior. The last time I heard about scurvy was in a history class when I heard about Jan van Riebeeck settling in the Cape so that he could plant vegetables and fruit so that the sailors who came from the Dutch East India Company would get fruit and vegetables and they wouldn't now have scurvy. So I had to go and look at the history books to say, now when did this scurvy return? Because there was no Jan van Riebeeck coming back here. So if we have, this is absolutely serious. If you have kwashiorkor, malnutrition, scurvy, marasmus as your major disease, then the gap, the inequality between those who have and those who do not have is too huge. And through female entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, we are addressing poverty, we are eradicating hunger, we are addressing the inequality between the very poor and the very rich, and we are addressing unemployment. The employment statistics in agriculture has risen. But now we have become so part of the continent. You'll be totally surprised to know that Zimbabwe is for the first time, our largest export destination. Most of our products that we export go to Zimbabwe. So previously it was the EU and the United States. Now the processed agricultural products mostly go to the continent, to Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Angola, Zambia. Those are beautiful markets. As fellow South Africans, you know, when we speak about Africa, we speak as if it's a different continent. And we speak about that Africa. We're part of Africa. It is a market which is untapped. And Nomzamo has managed to have access in the Mozambican market. She's controlling the Mozambican market when it comes to...
All right.
That's business.
Okay.
I didn't say that she's gone to war with Mozambique, but she's very good with the food supplements.
Okay, I'm going to try and rush us along because I know we can get carried away with some of these answers. But a quick one that's come through from Buhle Podile on Twitter, because we're talking about agriculture. You've sort of mentioned aquaculture as well, but forestry is another one of your areas. And Buhle says, "Hi Peter, I'm a young woman and have an opportunity to do export in the forestry sector. Who do I speak to?"
Me.
How does she get hold of you? I mean, because that's another area, isn't it?
Peter, you certainly don't want me to give my email address and phone number on TV.
No, but there must be.
We certainly have a huge team. There is a hotline for agriculture, forestry and fisheries, and I would request that the young person contacts the ministry. There is an email address which reads cosmin@daff.co.za. She must
Okay.
please send it. I'll read it immediately today.
All right, okay. So, because forestry, and then very quickly before we go to our people on the floor here, aquaculture. Our people have been fishing for centuries, and yet some of them feel like criminals for the way things have been set up. What are we doing to change that?
In November, the first round of rights allocations, which is fishing quotas or fishing rights, will become available. We'll be giving some of these quotas to cooperatives, but we'll continue working with the larger commercial companies. We do not want to see the larger commercial companies out of business, because that would mean job losses. Aquaculture could be practiced in the middle of Gauteng. Likewise, urban agriculture is the passion of the MEC for agriculture in Gauteng. There's just a vibrant and thriving agriculture sector in Gauteng. Aquaculture can be practiced in Limpopo. In Marble Hall, we put up 3 aquaculture ponds for the community, train them per season. Those 3 ponds generate 800,000 rand. We're going to give them an additional 3 ponds. The person who deals with aquaculture is a very young gentleman, Mr. Desmond Stevens, will be responding to some of the questions. And we, South Africans, need to have a fish diet. We cannot only be preoccupied with meat. So next time I see you, I'll ask you how much fish you eat. There is a budget for aquaculture. Those who would like to develop aquaculture projects, we are working with the DTI, Department of Trade and Industry. They have a budget for cooperatives up to 350,000 rand per cooperative. The money is there, the training is there. We want people to come forward.
Okay, you'll be glad to know I had salmon for dinner last night, Minister.
Congratulations. I just don't hope that some poacher caught it.
Oh, dear. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then as soon as we come back, we're going to start taking a lot of your tweets.